Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, boys and girls, welcome to the Power of Work. And today's topic is very sensitive. It's trending social media or other platforms. And today's topic is GBV, but before we dive into that, the word of the day is solidarity, aka unity. And today I have two guests from my own campus, HFS. Don't mind what I'm wearing, I'm an HFS student. And my guests, please introduce yourselves.
I am petition from Vic. I am a student at GBV. I am currently doing my BCom law, and my Instagram is VernoVW.
Okay, I'm petition. I'm actually SRC on campus. I'm in charge of our academics, employability, class representatives, and I'm also the national SRC academic representative for all of our campuses. And I'm a BA law student, and I don't have social media because it's crazy there.
What do you mean by crazy though?
Have you seen Twitter?
It is volatile.
There's a reason why I don't have Twitter.
Have you, okay, guys know. Have you seen what's on Instagram?
Yes.
Exactly.
But it depends on your interests, because you can always tap in I'm not interested in this.
Okay, I used to have IG, ASAP, TikTok. Even stuff that's stuff that I don't even like would find its way into my algorithm because JB follows me and JB's liking stuff like this.
Yeah, it's always like that lately. But guys, our topic, as we said, is GBV. It's trending all over the world. Pandemic, epidemic, it's up to you what you want to call it. And stats are very bad, guys. Shocking, disgusting, you can name it. So far, the National Survey says 1 in 3 women in South Africa experience physical violence in their lifetime. And as it stands right now, more than 11 rape cases in the first quarter of the year have been reported. And those cases are only cases that have been reported to the police. We all know some cases don't get there, some cases people get shut down. And that's very unfortunate, man, because I feel like we should protect our women. They breathe life into us, they empower us, and we should protect them. You guys still feel the same way or different take?
Yeah, man, and our children, they're the future.
What emotions the campaign bring to you once you saw what's happening all over the world?
I think, I am already someone who does my best to keep up with the news and what's going on. So for me, it was things I already knew were happening and things that I already was okay, this is something I'm upset about. But I think because obviously more women are coming forward with stories, it breaks my heart because I think in the last 2 years, almost lost 2 very important people to me because of GBV. And literally last year in December, I almost lost one of my best friends. And I woke up in the morning and she had called me and I was like, I'm lucky today that my best friend is still breathing. So it's just I am angry, I'm hurt, I'm crying on the inside because my best friend easily could have been me. My best friend easily could have been my mom, my sister, it could have just been anyone. It doesn't even have to be someone that's related to me. It could literally just be the little girl that's walking to go buy candy. It can literally just be the woman that's said that I go and buy water from every single day. Do you know what I mean? It's literally could just be anyone.
Do you feel safe in your own country?
No. What? Look.
True.
I
mean, we are a rape capital, unfortunately, so.
But I'll say truthfully, I don't fully, let me not say I don't fully believe. The rape capital thing, something people have to keep in mind, South Africa is one of the few countries that takes consensus. We take the stats, we take the numbers, and we're honest about them. And there are other countries that they don't consider a husband raping his wife as rape. They don't consider certain things as rape. So I think we could genuinely, even with all that into account, be the capital of the world, but I think it's a lot worse all over in the world than the numbers actually show, because if you stick something in someone's body, in South Africa, they're that's rape. You don't do that to someone, you don't violate someone, and in another country, if someone does that to you, shame.
That's it.
And that's literally it. There are how many men there are literally men, I'm trying to remember which guy, I think it's Andrew Tate, who committed rape in one country and went not committed rape in a country. I think he went to a country where rape was not like a crime in a certain capacity. Because like, if you are 21, you sleep with a 17-year-old in South Africa, we're like, so you're a rapist. And that's statutory rape. And you go to other countries where that's not a thing. So I can't remember if it was Andrew Tate or whoever. Someone basically went to a country where they could do that because it's not a crime there, and then they went back to whatever country they were actually working at. So when you comprehend how fucked up that is.
I think I've heard about something like that, similar to that. A lot of, from what I've heard, a lot of places like further in Asia, like you go to Malaysia, Indonesia, where the Philippines, where the age of consent is a bit different and lower, you'd find a lot of Western tourists, for instance, men who go there for the explicit purpose of raping.
Wow.
I wouldn't call it paid sex rape. That's a trial.
True.
Even like when we're like, Donald Trump slept with a 17-year-old girl, he raped her. He didn't sleep with her, like he raped her. Like you can't, like.
Can you call it rape if the state or country, I mean, if it says the age of consent is like 17, how would you challenge that? Because other countries, they're like, oh, 18 is the age of consent and whatever the case is, and other countries is the age of 21. So what do you have to say about that?
I think the age of consent thing is a legal thing and not like a social thing, if that makes sense. Like children can, because I'm trying to think of this just like in the space of the law, like children, it's like, I think once you hit like, I think in South Africa it's at age 7, that's the legal age of reasoning. So that means like at that point, like let's say there's an abuse case, the courts can actually go and ask the child about what's going on at home, but that doesn't mean the child isn't still naive, easy to manipulate. It doesn't mean that they fully comprehend their actions and what's going on around them. So when someone's like, yeah, but it's the legal age of consent, sometimes it's not about the consenting age. It's about the fact that she's 19, you're 31, you're her boss. What does consent look like in that conversation genuinely? I am 21 years old. You're 23. But we're out, we're drinking, and you keep giving me more alcohol, so I get drunker. Like, yes, legally I can consent to this, but like when you look at the actual circumstances of the two individuals in the situation, what's the relationship between the two of them? What's going on? Because people will be like, yeah, this young girl, she's sleeping with an older man, she's consenting to it. I'm like, what is he giving her in exchange of sex? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's also like the age of consent is more, I feel like it's more of a legal thing. And then when you look at the social context of the situation between the two people, it's a very different conversation.
Yeah. And to add on what you said about consent, especially in South African law, consent can be revoked at any point. So I could be at a club, let's say, with someone, and we hit it off, and I might ask her, do you want to have sex? She'd say yes, and we could go there, and then just before we start, she could revoke that consent. And if I push further, that is rape.
True.
And another problem though with that is, the thing is sometimes, because consent under South African law, it goes for all things. So if she consents to maybe oral sex and I switch to vaginal without consulting her first, I'm raping. And the thing is, if I did that, a problem is a lot of people, when they're scared, afraid, or threatened, or they feel threatened, they either go silent, go numb, or they're non-verbal. And so I might see that as non-restraint, that she's not trying to resist, she's not doing anything, so this is okay. I mean, at the end of the day, we agreed to oral, so like, I mean, what's the difference? It's vaginal, it's just, but then there is a difference. And so through that, I am quite literally raping.
Don't you
And
think
I don't think people understand.
most people in our country should be educated about how rape works?
I think there's a huge miseducation, especially among youth, because we do see that obviously, like the moment hormones switch on, these kids don't care about
Exactly.
they're just gonna smash. So I feel like we need to educate people on this, because if we don't, and these boys are just learning from things like pornography, and not just normal pornography. Apparently now there's this thing, gonzo porn,
The hell?
which basically is...
What is that?
It's a form of pornography that's apparently filmed from one of the actor's point of view. And it's apparently designed to be more explicit. Because what people have learned from pornography is people who are addicted or tend to use it often tend to need more stimulation.
Yeah.
And so the pornography then gets more extreme and it falls into more taboos. And then we slowly normalize things that could easily be either sexual violence, horrid taboos that need to remain taboos, maybe
Yeah.
familial relationships that aren't natural, that aren't
Yeah.
societally accepted. And then they become normalized through this. And if all that young man learns from is that pornography, we're going to see more problems in our society. We're going to see a desensitization to these things.
That's true. That's true.
I think it even starts like, think of LO. Like in LO, when we learn about like sex, it's just don't get pregnant,
Yeah.
That's not
Don't-
enough.
Or
don't get
condomize or
HIV.
something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
condomize. And you're like, dude, no one's teaching you about rape. No one's teaching you actually like what is sex, what is this, what is that. They're just like, don't get pregnant, don't catch a disease, don't catch HIV, and that's the full extent of it. Like I think even like when they were teaching us about it, like we were laughing in class because of the way our teacher was explaining it. He's like, yeah, guys, just don't get pregnant, and we're all like barking, obviously, like we're all cackling because
Yeah.
so is here, his accent's funny. Like the whole situation's happening,
Yeah.
and we're all like, ah, dude, we know not to get pregnant.
So, question to you, man, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying, I'm asking, does porn relate to rape? Explain that further for me, because I need
I'd
to
say-
understand.
Pornography itself does not relate it to rape, but there have been cases where a desensitization to hardcore forms of pornography make it more normalized in a young man's mind that, hey, I think I'm okay, I think she's just playing hard to get, and then that influences them to think, because if you look at the different tags and the different types of pornography, a lot of these start off as mundane scenarios that then escalate into a sexual experience or a violent.
They are professional actors, but
Yes.
yeah.
So in a scenario like that, I could, like for instance, there could be a boy who's alone, let's say for instance, in a closet with a girl. And because his brain has been primed by pornography to see this as an opportunity instead of just two people maybe in a closet trying to get out or something, he might see that as like a chance or a moment to take advantage, especially if hormones are rising. And that's not to say that pornography creates rapists, but it does prime certain people's minds to opening up to that idea.
So it can promote it.
I'm not saying it necessarily promotes it, but I'm saying it could lead to that. Because we have seen, and some of these are substantiated, especially with the type of pornography that some people do consume,
Engage in, yeah.
that even in rates of pedophilic thoughts,
Yeah.
it has been shown that it does tend to enhance people, because again, it's another thing about the desensitization to it. You need a stronger stimulant. So what's next after hardcore pornography? You go into the taboos. What's the worst thing I could, I don't know, consume?
Yeah.
So then it slowly builds up, and now next thing you know, by the time you realize,
You're at daily level.
yeah,
But isn't there a study that is actually a result of Jeffrey Dahmer that shows the correlation between pornography and violent behavior? I think like maybe just because it doesn't outright say, hey, you should go and do this to people, if you're watching, because there's even like a broader conversation happening, like people like even the fact that like people do choking during sex.
yes,
People are like,
yes.
someone should not be grabbing you
Yeah.
like that. Or even like the way we speak about sex, even like in slang, they're like, yeah, I just got my spine cracked.
Yeah,
Whoa,
it's
that's
very
kind of violent.
But some women like that. Some women are very, very much into that.
But I feel like
Yeah,
only catering to a specific minority is never a good thing.
Things
'Cause
like
if we're only catering to them, then now this is what everybody becomes exposed to. Because this group enjoys it, now everyone has to be able to freely.
I think the thing is like it's one thing to have your own freakiness. People have their own little you know, I like chocolate, someone likes ice cream, someone likes strawberry. You know? We don't all like the same things. But I think the problem is, okay, choking is normal. So someone's gonna be like, okay, can I introduce this during sex? And someone takes it too far.
Yeah. And then
Do you know,
someone's
someone's like, yeah, well, like, choking in general is meant to look like this. Kanti, she's like, help me, I can't breathe. Do you get what I mean? Like, because, like you're saying, like taboos, like because certain things are, like what people do behind closed doors is their business. But like there's a line, and that's where consent comes in. That's where communication during sex comes in, because you need to know that, like, okay, it's one thing for me to put my hand there. It's another thing for me to be pressing on, like, her, I don't know, the esophagus. You know, like, it's another thing for me to be pressing down and she actually can't breathe.
Yeah.
But can I also press on something? Because what we're talking about, this consent or the choking stuff, right? Someone might say, I might tell my partner to stop, but I don't actually mean stop. You understand?
This goes back into that broader conversation where men would tell other men, hey man, if she says no, she means yes.
But
If she says
sometimes
yes, she means no.
Think in a male's perspective, right? Now you're with this new heart. You know she has wild experiences from what you've heard, right? And then she says stop, and you know she has had wild experiences before, and you don't stop because she has had wilder stuff. You understand? So how do you deal with that type of thing? You know you should stop, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to because you don't know if she's bluffing or not.
I say rather be safe than sorry.
Ask.
So that's when these women leave you for men who actually can do it.
Hey man, I'd rather be single than in jail.
Okay,
Exactly.
good lie.
Also, just ask.
Yeah.
Thing is, like, don't think for someone. And I don't think this just applies to like sex and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Don't think for someone. That's also a problem if someone's being like, oh, I told him to stop, but I didn't want him to, my sister.
Okay, see, that's the difficult part I wanted to bring up, the gray area about that. How, as a guy, should we know that you guys are just bluffing or not, even though we ask?
I think it's better to not assume,
But listen,
just like
let's be honest.
ask. Like, please learn to ask. Thing is, like, I'm trying to remember how to put this. Like, you should technically during sex be ensuring that consent is always there.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, you're choking someone, hypothetically, and they're like, stop, look at them and be like, are you sure? Like, try, and even if you don't obviously you don't want to spoil the mood and be like, are you sure that we need to stop this? But you know how to ask someone and be like, hey, or you're like, and if you see the person continue to give you that consent, okay, but also like check in, because the next, like you said, it's better to be single than to be in jail. It's better to be unsatisfied than to have a GBV case.
Yeah. Because that sticks with
And
you.
then what about, okay, sorry, social media, once again. You get people who are like, yo, no, talk her through it, right? What do you mean, talk her through it?
There's
You
no
understand?
side, yeah.
Exactly, so how can we still be safe from these type of influences from social media? How?
Yeah, social media is negatively.
You understand?
A lot.
So social media does actually contribute to those type of things.
Speaking of social media, the movements, Women for Change, for example, do you think they actually change anything with this movement that's going on?
I do. I think something people, if you have the Women for Change page, I used to have it. Women for Change, for me, and I know for like other people I know, brought into perspective how bad things are. Because Women for Change can post a woman every single day, multiple times a day. And when you start to see that and you comprehend, oh, you haven't run out of people to post, and you're not going to run out anytime soon. I think people, when they think of like, oh, is something making change or difference, they think, has the problem stopped? Like that's like, they're like, okay, solution, problem. Like that's the only two. Like if the problem is here, change means solution's been met, something's been done. And bringing awareness to how bad things are, because I think a lot of us didn't realize how bad GBV was and how bad it's been getting if it wasn't for Women for Change and pages like that. Even the Chris Brown concert situation, and people were like, let's get rid of Women for Change. I'm like, y'all are horrible. Because people like, what people didn't comprehend that also made it really sinister was Chris Brown was coming at the time of our 16 days of activism against GBV.
True.
I think he was coming at the beginning of it. And they were like, he's a known abuser. And everyone's always like, yeah, but Rihanna forgave him. There's people after him. I think it's like since 2013, every single year there's a case, there's a charge against him. And it's not just women, it's men too. Like he be hitting people in the club with got issues. But he's just a violent individual, and they're like, please don't let this person come here. And people are like, we don't care, we want to listen to the music. I'm like, that's how R. Kelly ran around for so long. And then people want to cancel Women for Change. But when you think about the fact that we're having a known abuser come to a country where this is a problem, that man then goes onto their page, Women for Change's page, and says, I can't wait to see you guys. Do you know how fucking twisted that? Sorry. Do you know how bad that is?
It is very,
do you know how twisted that is?
Like as taunting them.
Exactly. And now you wonder why Women for Change doesn't want him in our country. And whose was Chris Brown's largest audience? Women.
I was about to say that as victims, and you guys are still condoning that. How does it make you guys feel?
But to add on that, what I wanted to say about Women for Change, I like the movement. I like that there's visibility online. And I do hear that there's certain people who do believe that it's more just performative activism because all you do is change your profile picture. But that's not all you should do. I mean, there are different places, like for instance, tears.co.za. It's a shelter where for women who've escaped abuse, who've been raped, so you can go and donate to that. I mean, it's about, we're here for change, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably what we should bring, instead of just, like, it's a good sign because it's all about visibility. That's why you change your profile picture, but that's not where the job ends.
I think also, like, a lot of us only know about these movements in the social media capacity. For all we know, the money that Women for Change makes, how do we know that it doesn't go towards them actually supplying women with certain things, funding women's shelters? Because, like, a lot of us probably don't do research into that, or that's the stuff that they don't show because you also don't want to show those faces. You know, a lot of people, like, you see people doing that, let's give to the poor, and then someone's always going to be like, you're doing that for a camera. But there's like a lot of organizations where the money actually genuinely does translate, or all this traction they get online translates them to them funding a shelter, or them, okay, we heard about this story, there's enough money in the account to give this person at least this. You know what I mean?
Interesting, guys.
But speaking of money, I feel like one thing we tend to forget when we're talking about GBV is the economic abuse that takes place. I've heard many stories of where women who've been in physically abusive relationships cannot leave because their children are dependent. They are dependent upon this man. And so I feel like financial security is something we also have to look for, or look forward to fixing.
I think
because until women can stand on their own, we cannot call ourselves like proper change bringers. But
then that goes into a broader conversation about socioeconomic factors, because I think even when we talk about women having to, you guys should be financially independent, there are still also things in place, like you go to the workplace and the workplace is a boys club.
The workplace is
a boys club,
especially the higher up.
It elaborates on that statement
in the sense of that, like, okay, I'm a law student, right? I have a lot of boys in my class, right? So maybe when we get to the field, it's a thing of, okay, there's 5 of us, we've got to work this case together. Cool, when we're in the office, we work on the case, right? But I know Diverno's first pick is another guy. It's not me. I know that, okay, cool, once we leave the office, you guys are going to go out, have drinks, have fun, continue to build relationships with each other, network, and you leave me out of it because, oh, we don't want her around ruining the vibe. You know how it is when there's a woman around. You know, like that type of thing of,
Or like when guys go, oh, we're actually gonna go do this, but it's like more of a guy's thing, you know?
Exactly.
And
And
we didn't
then
think, sorry, we didn't invite you.
yeah, and then people will be like, oh, but according to BE and these things, you guys are supposed to be up there. And I'm like, yes, but also a lot of the times I'm not the person for the job because there's a guy you guys will pick before me. Even if there's legislation or things in place, it still happens that I could have the same job as DeVerno and DeVerno gets paid more simply for the fact that he's a guy. He doesn't do better work. He doesn't do more extra hours than me. We're literally clocking the same hours, the same effort, and DeVerno's just gonna get more because he's a guy.
Get paid more.
Yeah, it happens.
Listen, I feel like, not even I feel like, I know that the pay cap is a myth, especially nowadays, right? Because why would you want to pay men if you know women would want to get paid less? As a business, think as a business.
What you're
Yeah, as a
saying
business,
is
yeah.
it would make more financial sense to
Exactly. So that's why I
women.
think it's a myth. Now it's all about, if you can provide the skill, you're in. If you can't, you
Out.
exactly.
But if it really was like that, why then do we still need to have affirmative action? Why then is diversity still something that needs to be pushed? If it genuinely is the best candidate for the job,
Why
needs to
doesn't it
take
be-
the job,
I
why
feel like
do we...
I feel like we're also still healing from the olden days when women used to just stay in the house, right, and take care of the household, and then men used to go out and do all the hard labor, right? And we're still healing from that. Of course, a BBE, EEE is going to still stand, right? And they're going to still stand for more women, more black women than white women. You understand? So we are still healing. That's how I feel.
But don't you think feminists want that for women also?
Whoa.
To a sense. Let me land first.
Okay.
Let me land first.
Let's let you land.
What's the question, feminist?
Let me see if this needs to come off real quick.
Let me land first. Let me land first. By that I mean, for example, let's use Agitate's viral videos that we've seen.
That name.
I know it's a bad example. Actually, that's the worst example. But let's say those podcasts where women get downgraded to a certain degree because of the feminists. Those people who don't want to work, they just want to marry a rich man, stay at home and everything like that. Don't you think they also contributed to this?
Here's what people get wrong about feminism. Because people hear the fem part and they think it's only about women's rights. Feminism is about essentially equal rights and equity across the board. So people also think feminism is only, oh yes, women should have choices and we support every choice. We don't. Because when you say, oh, I just want a rich man, I don't want to do anything with my life, you are perpetuating an environment that often breeds abuse. Even when it comes to, like, I'll say for myself, I'll say for me and my girls, you are not going to be an idiot if you're my friend. We're not going to play that game, because if you want to be a housewife and it's your desire genuinely to, I want to build a home, I want to be a loving wife, and that's what you actually want for yourself, that's one thing. But a lot of people who are like, I just want a rich man, I don't want to do nothing, you're being lazy. You don't want more for yourself. You're not pushing. People be like, I don't want a hard life, I don't want to this and that. Like, feminism doesn't support you putting yourself in situations that are going to breed abuse. We're saying, if I go to the workplace, I shouldn't be paid less because I'm a woman. I should be allowed to open a bank account without my father. I should be allowed to own property, as I need to be treated as a fair and equal citizen before the law in social circumstances as well. My gender, no one's gender should actually hinder them from being allowed to exist, to enjoy certain freedoms and rules. It's not us saying, oh, you want to go be a horrible woman, we support that. No, go out there and the world mustn't disadvantage you because of gender. It shouldn't disadvantage you because of sexuality. If you're the best person for the job, if you're a gay man at that, be a gay man and be the best person that ever get the company millions.
Because at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with the company.
Exactly. Because feminism isn't just about women, it's about equal rights. Feminism also fights for LGBTQ+I individuals, because there is no reason for you to oppress, exclude, or violate someone based off of gender, based off of race, based off of sexuality. Like, if you're uncomfortable with the fact that your boss is a gay man, well, he's built a multi-million-dollar company.
I mean, you're not forced to work there.
Exactly.
So the wrong people are pushing the message. That's what you're saying about feminism.
I think it's been deeply misconstrued because I think, and this goes into the conversation of like gender wars. I think people, one, misunderstand what it is because initially we just wanted to be treated like humans. I think it's only in South Africa, it's only the late, I'm not sure, it's in the 90s, I think it's the late 80s, where we were allowed to finally have our own bank accounts. And when you think about the fact that there's a possibility that apartheid existed longer than I had the right to have a bank account without a male proxy. Do you know how crazy that is? To think that like at some point in the world, in life, I was not allowed to own land because of gender. I was not allowed to have a bank account because of gender. I was not allowed to exist outside of certain things. And there's a lot of instances of women being inventors or creators of things, but there's a male name attached to it. And even with black people, you find a black person started something, but there's a white guy who we know to be the inventor of it. And now you look at current society, and a lot of people take what was the original fight, that's not the fight anymore. So what does the fight look like now? Men and women have issues with each other. And a lot of us are throwing, oh, you're a feminist, like it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, like it's some slur.
Just because a woman's like, I want to be a horrible woman. That has nothing to do with feminism. Like, if I want to lie to men and be a horrible individual, that has absolutely nothing to do with feminism and everything about me.
So, guys, can we truly achieve equality with this feminist movement?
It's gonna take a while.
I feel like as a female, they should start this conversation.
Lord, let me go here. Wow. I think it's a yes and no thing because it's like, will we ever fully get rid of crime? No. But we could be more equal because, like I said, someone shouldn't be judged on their gender, whether or not they're the best person for the job. People shouldn't be ostracized, people shouldn't be abused, people shouldn't go through negative things solely based off of who they are. And even when we think of, like, let's think of our own campus, right?
Okay.
We have our SRC, right? Your SRC president shouldn't be chosen because, I know that guy. You should generally be thinking, okay, dude, if I look at the ballot, who's the best person for the job? Who's someone who I know is gonna go to bat? Do you know what I mean? And gender, sexuality, those things shouldn't be factors. Those things that oppress us shouldn't be factors in that. Like, especially in South Africa, it's very different because we are still fresh off of apartheid. And we need to understand that it's only been, what, 30 years, 31 years?
Yeah, something.
We're still very young as a country.
There are a lot of people who grew up in their teen years in apartheid.
I think of the story my mom tells me. She was 9. My mom's parents took her to Swaziland where her grandparents were living. Shout out to my granddad, that man was living large. They had a TV that was in color.
Oh, back then.
They were bougie. So my grandparents took them there because it was safe. And my grandmother, my mom's mom, stayed in KZN. So my mom would have to cross the border to see her parents. And she was 9. And she's getting searched by these sniffer dogs, these German shepherds. And she's a child. I'm a little kid just trying to go see my parents, and I'm being searched like I'm carrying drugs or something. My mom is only 51 this year. My grandparents lived through apartheid, worked. My granddad always tells me, my school fees were 13 cents. I'm like, yeah?
Yeah, crazy times.
He's passed now, but he's only in his 80s. Like when you comprehend that, like there's someone that's older than how long this country's been free.
Yeah.
Those things of the past, they're still sitting at home. They're still the reason why so many of us are displaced. It's, we go into the conversation of land expropriation and all these things, but even the effects of apartheid still sit on our parents. And I'm not just talking about economically, I'm talking about like in the household. People talk about black people, like, we don't have fathers, but yeah, that's because back then our dads went to go work in the mines and the mine was 3 hours away. Dad went and started a whole other family, which is his problem. But you also ask, would that have happened if he was at home? Because how do you go live in a whole other province from your family
To support that.
to support that family? Traveling back must have been so expensive. You had the pass laws, which was also a whole other hassle that was going to make traveling for you. You get us being broken apart. You get Bantu education. All these things affecting us. That's why so many of us are first time in university and all of that. So I think we'll get there one day. I don't think we'll ever completely eradicate and remove sexism and all those things, but I do think we can get to a point where it's not an obstacle that's this bad. The men need to speak. The men need to speak.
Well, I'm too flabbergasted to speak. And what you say is deep.
No, I agree with that. Because in a way, I feel like the brunt of this whole issue falls on me.
Yeah.
Because, and there's this quote that I live by, I just forgot who said it, but it's somewhere along the lines of, in order for evil to prevail, good men must do that. And so inaction is an action, and it helps perpetuate this violence. If you know, for instance, that one of your bros is maybe like, you see the way he's like grabbing on his girl, and you go, oh no, guy code, it's his girl, I'm not gonna do it. That's a problem, because you're openly allowing a man to do that to another woman. And so we need to also stand and do something about it.
But in that case, what do you do as it's your friend?
I need that guy. I'm that guy.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after. True.
I have a little sister, man. I'm not gonna stand. If I want her to be safe in this world, I need to have that mentality. It doesn't matter if I know this girl or not. It doesn't matter if I've known this brother of mine for like 10 years, 20. I'm yaking him. Don't do that.
Have you guys heard about the rejected petition?
Yeah.
What's your take on?
I'm not surprised. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not surprised in a horrible way, but I understand, okay, from my understanding, from what I read briefly, the reasoning behind the rejection, part of it, is that there are systems and things in place. And I'm like, if the system and things are failing, if the stats say what they say, this is a problem.
But what are the systems? Because
I mean,
most people do not know there were systems in the first place.
True, I mean, it's stuff like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna think back to when it happened to someone I know. When she went to the doctor, because I went with her, I took her to my doctor specifically because like I trust him, very great doctor. And he was like, "You're allowed to write something with me. No one's gonna force you to file it. You're not forced to, but it will be on record here." And I think they're talking about stuff like that, like the fact that you can go to the cops, the fact that legislation does protect you. But the thing is, if those systems that are in place, like okay, legislation says that rape is a crime. There's a broad definition of rape, therefore there's something that's there to protect you. Maybe if you go to clinics, they can probably provide you with supports and things like that. But I think, one, we don't know about those systems that are in place. So are they really effective? And also, why, as the government, if you can see that this is an issue, why aren't you saying, hey, here's ways to get help, here's ways to get safer? But also, even with those systems in place, the stats are still the stats. Because you find maybe clinics, for example, maybe, I don't know the exact thing, that's not putting maybe they will do like a rape kit, obviously for free and stuff, but then you find that while you're doing the examination, the doctor rapes you.
Sure.
It happens! I think there was a story about a woman who went under anesthesia and she was like doing, I think, dental work or something. And then like she went to the doctor a couple months later and then they're like, you're pregnant. And she's like, how? And then they're like, track it back. It's when she went under anesthesia for dental surgery. And her doctors were men.
Damn.
So
It's tough.
like even the big case, I think it's in France, of the woman Giselle, where her husband basically was drugging her and men were just coming and raping her.
What?
Yeah, it's so bad. I think there were like 72 men. and she's an old woman.
I don't even know about that one.
Same.
It's so bad around the world.
So it's actually a global
It is a
thing.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even think pandemic's the word anymore because I think genocide, but on a global scale. That's how bad it is because at some point you just like women are being slaughtered and treated like we are nothing more than just the cattle that you guys breed with.
GBV, right? There's women who say, I have been raped, but I don't think the police are gonna like do anything about it or things of that nature. And some women take time to get maybe the rape kits and things of that nature because they fear the system because someone might have their own opinions about this rape scenario and they don't want to experience that. So how do these women actually go about actually coming to the law for the law to help them? Because the law does actually help people, right? And these guys are actually scared. So what's your message to these women who are raped and scared to go for the rape kits and things of that nature? What is your take, guys?
Personally, let's start with the rape kit. Go get it first. That's a lot of evidence. Like the moment it happens, just go directly and go get it.
But how are you gonna motivate that person to go get it? Because they're scared. I think it's a dignity issue or whatever issue, right? They're scared to go there, and then they take too long to go there, and then now we can't find the staff, and you can claim that this person raped you, right? And then now the police don't actually have that evidence that this person actually raped you. You know what I'm saying? So what's your message to those type of women to actually get that rape kit? Because now we can't work with nothing. We can't work with just words. There are so many men in jail for nothing actually. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, he raped me, whatever, because they wanted a different outcome. Could be money, could be anything, right? Or maybe it could be a minor, right? Going to a club, not actually specifying they're actually a minor, right? Now there's these crop mans. Who turns a team? She wants like maybe an iPhone or maybe a frontal or maybe she just wants to look good for the gram, whatever the case. Because there are young people like that who actually get into the club and hunt for old men, right? And you're like, yeah, what's your take on that, guys?
I think the first problem is we're assuming everyone's rape is a violent experience that leaves evidence behind. Because rape is not just he pins me down and he does whatever. Rape is me sleeping with someone and I'm too drunk to give consent or remember the experience. So I wake up the next morning and I actually don't know what happened to me. So how am I to know to go get a rape kit? What if I have an experience with someone and I look back and I think about it and I was actually scared the whole time.
Why were you scared? If now you're saying I don't actually know that someone raped me because I was drunk and I couldn't even think. Why were you not responsible? So what message can you send to the woman to actually to do that responsible drinking? Because now it doesn't help us with anything when you come to us and say I was too drunk, right? To actually remember, because now you can actually put someone in jail for nothing. It's a serious issue because it's someone's life, right? There's cases like that, a lot of them. You understand? So now, what message can you send to women, right, to drink responsibly? Because these things really do happen. And yeah, what's your message, guys?
Here's the thing. I can tell women to drink responsibly, and someone's still going to take advantage of you drinking responsibly. Because part of why, like the morning after pill, the reason why it's not sold to men is because the moment you drop it in alcohol, it is a rape drug. All you have to do, I could be drinking water. I could be keeping myself safe the whole night, and someone's still gonna take advantage of me. Yes, obviously, I shouldn't be going out and getting belligerently drunk around people I don't know. And that goes for anyone, men, female, like, you shouldn't, if you're going out drinking, please be with people that you're going to be safe around. Or if you're going out somewhere by yourself, please make sure you stay aware and alert.
Or just in a location.
Yeah, but there are people who, regardless of how many steps you take, are still going to rape you. There was a girl recently who, they came into her house. She was at home. They came into her house and raped her. The Mpumalanga case right now. Yes, like, I think, yes, I can tell women, please don't drink irresponsibly. Please be safe around people. Please take care of yourself. But even in the same breath, rape doesn't happen if there isn't a rapist in the room. Like, it's a very, I think what gets difficult is, I can tell women, prevention. Drink responsibly. Don't be in unsafe areas. Don't be young trying to go to the club, but that's also something you can't fully avoid because we all know what it's like to be young and want to do adult things.
You can avoid it by not actually going to the club, and it's a hard topic because I mean we want to go to the club.
But I feel like you're missing the
point. Listen, I'm not missing the point. When we speak, can you please generalize, right? Let's not speak on the minority because there's many minority cases like we can tap into. Maybe a case of sishati, right? We're in a marriage and the assumption is that we are gonna have sex, but this one doesn't consent. Another assumption can be a minor in a club, not actually showing their age. Another assumption, it's a lot of assumptions. So let's generalize in this case. You know what I mean? Because most rape cases, let's say now, as she said, oh, I'm too drunk to remember anything, but I think someone touched me. They go to the police station, right? Now she's accusing a bunch of niggas. This one was in my space, or this one was in my space. You know what I mean? And it contradicts you if you can remember this one and you can't remember that one. You understand what things I'm saying? So let's generalize when we're speaking about this rape thing. You understand?
But I think to generalize rape would be very wrong. Because if we look at the stats, and if we look at rape in a general sense, the general understanding of rape is that I was walking home, someone grabbed me, someone pinned me down, someone violently raped me.
That's not the only general, okay.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, when we say let's generalize, it makes it very difficult because if we're honest about what the general experience is right now,
penetration.
It's penetration, but it's also a lot of women right now are around people they trust, or they're simply going about their daily lives and they are being violated in them. If we think of Uyinene, she was going to the post office.
True.
How many women have stories of, I was walking, I was doing this, I was at home asleep, I was going about my day-to-day life, and someone took advantage of me. That's the general experience right now. It looked, certain things look different, but rape is not a one-size-fits-all, especially right now in South Africa. It's not in the slightest bit. But the commonality is that people are being taken advantage of, regardless of what the situation looks like, regardless of if I was too drunk, if I was safe, if I was consenting, if he trusts, it's just a general experience that men and women are having. Women are the majority stat right now, but it's an experience that's happening to so many women because you could sit in your lecture right now and I promise you, there's a woman in that lecture hall with you that has a story. We could be sitting in this room right now and someone has that story. You could go home and someone has that story.
Even men.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, women may be the majority right now, but it's happening to men. And even when we try to have the conversation about it happening to men, exactly.
So that's why.
That's a different one, guys.
Because there is that stigma around, like,
There is.
how's a man getting raped by a woman?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And
So
that makes people shameful. Guys who are actual victims won't come out and talk about it because of that stigma that, oh, he's weak, he let a girl rape him, things like that.
I feel like most of the time, from what I've seen, my personal experience about that is the fact that it's mostly women who push that narrative too when it comes to men getting raped. And Balesa, since you're also a woman, why though? Like, GBV is gender.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, rape is gender.
Yeah.
As much as women are the victims, shout out to us supporting them as men. But what about the males also? Don't they have a voice in this movement? Or are we just focusing because women are the ones?
I fear that what we're doing is we're trying to ask if men have a voice in a movement called Women for Men have a voice in a movement called Women for Change.
I get
When
it.
I think it's more, it's designed specifically.
it's back to my point of it's back to my point of generalizing, right? Like more women actually rape than men, right?
But that's
So-
not a generalization, look, it's that.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
statistical fact.
but but you get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? As Kulume,
Thing is, I think the thing that happens when we try to bring men into the conversation,
it's GBV.
that's what I'm getting to. Let me talk.
So,
When we want to be honest about the fact that it's gender, from my experience from the women I'm around, I don't know, from the women I'm genuinely around, if you're a man and you were to come and say that this happened to you, we're going to judge that woman just as hard as we judge a man. I think what the problem becomes, and the large conversation we also have to have, even with the green movement, no, like it makes me, you know, it's the thing, you can't put all of that responsibility on us. Because also, we can perpetuate something, but where do we hear it first? Because it's also common to come from you guys. Thing is, women, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be someone else. You know what I mean? Like, we can try achieve great things, but there's always going to be a conservative, there's always going to be a racist in the room. But even with, there's going to be a certain type of individual in the room, whether you try to avoid it or not. But the thing is, you guys don't hold each other to begin with. So when we have the conversation of GBV, if you see the women that are telling stories, the people that are getting on the ground, how many of them are you seeing are women who are willing to fight for each other? Are you guys willing to fight for each other? Because also, at some point it becomes unfair for you to say, as women, why aren't you doing this for us? What are you doing for each other? Do you guys sit and have those conversations that, hey, dude, you know if this hun does this to you, it's wrong. Dude, you know the fact that every time you're around your hun, you're stressed, you're going through it, is emotional abuse. Do you have that conversation with each other?
We don't have those conversations. Because even as kids, right? An older woman can come to you, touch you when they want to touch you. And as a man, you will get those feelings of wanting to engage, right? And now, these guys know that when I touch you here, this is what's going to happen. And of course, you know what's going to happen. But, you know, we don't have that conversation of you should stop these people when they try to do these things, but they do it anyway.
I feel like for guys, it's just a fine line. Because let's say, for example, Balesa and I are engaging in such things. Then I push her away because I'm saying no. She can twist it and say I abused her like that.
That is
Right?
true.
Or call you gay.
That's what's said about
But
James in this situation. 'Cause
even like the thing
Facts.
of like an older woman touching you and your thing wakes up. You do know women can orgasm during sex because that's the body's natural response. Your body responding is not an indication of what you're actually experiencing. Because also for other women, it's the body doing that is also the body trying to make this experience easier for you. Like there are women, well, people, and I remember actually shout out to my grade 10 ELO teacher for making us watch this other movie, where it showed that this young girl, she was being raped, and what her brain did is she focused on the pattern in the hotel room, and that helped her dissociate. The brain will make you forget things to protect you. So even that, like the body doing its own thing is its own thing. But at the end of the day, there's still a conversation about you should not feel ashamed. And I can tell you that till I'm black and blue in the face, but as long as you go around and you're around Achita, and they don't second that message, they don't promote that message, it means nothing. Because I can try to hold you, I can do my best to support you, I could be the most open and safest space to you as a man, and it would mean nothing if you go back and match in. Guys, she hit me, yeah, but like, hey dog, she didn't abuse me. She did. That's assault.
She was angry, man.
Yeah, that's assault.
Most
Like,
abusers are angry.
exactly, like, even, like,
Most abusers are angry.
Exactly.
like, if you stop and you actually think of the fact that, like, if your partner, every time you think of them, there's stress, there's anxiety, you think you're scared of fights, you're scared of certain things. At some point, male or female, you're going through abuse. And as a woman, yes, I'm gonna go to my best friend and she's gonna be honest with me about the fact. You can come to me and cry and I'll tell you you're being abused and you're gonna be the first person that tells me you're not. And that starts with you guys because women have fought for women.
Yeah, I think men need to open up about those things though, because I mean there is a lot of like obvious social problems. We don't really talk about our emotions. Like I think the one emotion most men know, like without a doubt, they're feeling is anger. That's the only one we're allowed to feel openly.
True.
I mean, have you guys seen any of your bros cry?
Yeah.
Like in front of people though. I don't mean like just you guys. I mean,
Well, not really, but on the side.
yeah, on the side.
Yeah, I have.
How many girls have you seen in public?
Oh man, a lot, a bunch. Oh, whole lives, every year.
Don't you think if we had that space, if we had the ability, that maybe just maybe like if we had more emotional regulation, if we had better communication among as guys, there'd be less of this hate in the world. There'd be less of this. And another thing, we've been talking a lot about what women can do to protect themselves or to mitigate the chance of them being raped, but I fear that we don't talk enough about men who need to really educate themselves on what behavior is appropriate and what isn't, what to do if you see another guy do it, especially if it's someone you know.
Alright guys, well this is part 1 of this episode. Yeah, we've dealt about this topic very, very deeply. And guys, please leave your comments, what's your take on this? What do you think we should do as a nation and globally to stop this pandemic? Please tune in for part 2 and please have a good day. Let me land first. By that